Picture this. You're about to give a speech in English. Your heart races, but instead of freezing up, you deliver it flawlessly. In this episode, we'll show you how Sarah went from shy and struggling to confident and fluent in English. We're going to explore a powerful technique that transformed her speaking skills. Get ready to learn how you can apply this method to boost your own English fluency. Let's take a step back in time to Sarah's first day at college. Picture this, a bustling cafeteria filled with chatter and laughter. Sarah sits alone at a corner table, her lunch tray barely touched. Her eyes dart nervously around the room, catching snippets of English conversations that seem to zoom past her understanding. Sarah's heart races as she overhears the confident exchanges between her new classmates. She wants to join in, to make friends, but the thought of speaking English out loud terrifies her. It's a feeling many language learners know all too well, that mix of excitement and anxiety when faced with real-world conversations. A friendly classmate approaches and introduces herself. Sarah freezes, struggling to form even a simple response. Her face burns with embarrassment as she stumbles through a basic introduction. This brief interaction highlights just how far she has to go in her language journey. As the day goes on, Sarah makes a silent promise. She's going to improve her English no matter what it takes. She refuses to let these awkward moments define her college experience. But how? Traditional methods haven't worked so far. She needs something different, something that will help her speak as confidently as her classmates. That evening, feeling determined, Sarah searches online for language learning tips. She stumbles upon something intriguing, a podcast about the imitation technique for improving spoken English. The description promises rapid improvement in pronunciation and fluency. With a mix of hope and curiosity, she decides to give it a try. Sarah downloads the podcast, digs out her old headphones, and prepares to take the first step on what she hopes will be a transformative journey. Are you ready to see how the imitation technique works its magic? Let's join Sarah as she embarks on her first practice session. Imagine being able to speak English as smoothly as your favorite actor or news anchor. That's exactly what Sarah thought when she first heard about the imitation technique. As she sits down for her first practice session, she's about to learn that sometimes the most effective solutions are also the simplest. Let's see how this technique works and why it's creating such a buzz in language learning circles. Sarah takes a deep breath and puts on her headphones. The podcast host's voice comes through, clear and inviting. "Welcome to your first imitation technique session," it says. Sarah listens intently as the host explains the basics. The technique involves listening and reading, imitating the speaker's pronunciation and intonation, and then shadowing by talking along with them. As Sarah continues, she starts to notice little details in the host's speech, the way certain words flow together, the rhythm of the sentences. She's actively engaged, following along with a transcript of what's being said. This helps her connect the written words with their spoken form. Then, she tries to match the host's pronunciation exactly, paying attention to things like stress and intonation. The final step, shadowing, is where Sarah speaks at the same time as the host. This requires her to process and produce language simultaneously, which is exactly what happens in real conversations. It's like a workout for her brain's language centers. There's some interesting science behind why this technique works so well. Research shows that mimicry in language learning activates neural pathways associated with language acquisition. By imitating native speakers, Sarah is helping her brain process and produce English more effectively. As Sarah continues practicing, she starts to notice small improvements. Words that used to trip her up now flow more smoothly. She's becoming more aware of the natural rhythm of English speech. It's not a dramatic change, but it's progress, and that's motivating. By the end of her first session, Sarah is surprised to find herself feeling optimistic. She decides then and there to make this a daily habit. 15 minutes a day, she tells herself. I can do that. As Sarah closes her laptop and removes her headphones, she's ready to continue her journey towards fluency, one imitation at a time. Fast forward 2 months. Sarah's English has improved, but she's about to face a challenge that will test her progress. Sarah confidently orders a latte at the campus coffee shop, her pronunciation clear and natural. The barista understands her perfectly. It's a small win, but it feels significant. Encouraged by this success, Sarah joins the college's English Conversation Club. However, during a discussion on environmental issues, she struggles to express her thoughts. Despite her preparation, her mind goes blank, and she can only stammer out a few disconnected phrases. This experience highlights the ups and downs of language learning. One day you're ordering coffee like a pro, the next you're struggling to form a sentence. It's a common experience, but that doesn't make it less frustrating. Instead of giving up, Sarah decides to intensify her practice. She incorporates podcasts and TED Talks into her routine, focusing on complex sentences and academic vocabulary. She practices expressing opinions and asking thoughtful questions. It's challenging, but Sarah can feel herself improving. As Sarah continues her practice, her professor announces an upcoming international conference on campus. Students are encouraged to attend and participate in discussions. Sarah sees this as a chance to put her new skills to the test. Little does she know, this conference will present an even bigger challenge and an incredible opportunity. Sarah's excitement builds as she reads the email inviting her to present at the international conference. It's a big opportunity, but also a daunting challenge. She knows she needs to step up her game. As Sarah prepares, she focuses on mastering academic vocabulary and formal speaking patterns. She finds recordings of academic presentations and practices, mimicking the speaker's tone, pacing, and emphasis. To make her presentation more engaging, she incorporates personal stories and a touch of humor. To boost her confidence, Sarah uses visualization techniques and practices in front of her peers. She creates a collection of anecdotes to illustrate her points during the presentation. As the conference day arrives, Sarah feels a mix of excitement and nerves. She takes a deep breath as she enters the auditorium, listening to other presentations while mentally reviewing her own. Finally, it's her turn. Sarah walks to the podium, her heart pounding. She looks out at the audience, takes another deep breath, and begins to speak. Sarah's presentation was a success. Her voice filled the auditorium with confidence, and the audience listened intently. As she concluded, the room applauded, and Sarah realized how far she'd come. What can we learn from Sarah's journey? First, consistency is key. Second, embrace mistakes as part of learning. Third, practice in real-life situations. Ready to start your own imitation journey? Here's how to begin today. Find a short English video or podcast that interests you. Listen carefully, then try to mimic the speaker. Record yourself and compare. It might feel strange at first, but stick with it. Your future fluent self will thank you. Be sure to join our Telegram group, and I will see you in the next episode.